From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Becoming Thin podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrell. And welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through and what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now. Don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles, after all. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down, up again. Before I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my real-life lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and to my systems of belief. Because it's all 6 of those things that create the results of my life, and if you want to get new results in your life, you're going to have to go change those same very 6 things. Now I'm here each week to help talk you through that, help give you new ideas to consider, new ways to think about things, in hopes that you too can make the permanent, meaningful, and actual changes in your life to get new results. Now this week on the podcast, I wanted to try something new. I don't recall if I've ever actually done this. I don't think I have. If I have, it's only been once or twice, so minimally I don't remember it. But in my group program, the Guild, which you hear me talk about all the time, I do hot seat coaching, as it's called, where I coach people through decisions, helping them get clarity, work through things. And I had a really great call today in my maintenance class, because here's the thing: even when you're done with weight loss, you begin to realize there's still things you got to learn, there's still things you got to circle around and pick up and figure out. And it's no different for me. I still am learning things, and I'm many years into maintenance. And in this, we had a coaching conversation with Misty, who's in the Guild, and she's actually been a guest on the show before. She's lost 190 pounds, I believe, and has been successfully keeping it off. And she has been wanting to add exercise into her life and has been struggling with getting exercise added into her life. And we had a really great coaching call today that was impromptu. I said these things aren't normally planned, but they just sort of happen. And I asked her, and she got permission, and said, hey, could I share our coaching call here on the podcast? Because I thought maybe you don't know what weight loss coaching is. Maybe you don't even, you maybe wonder, like, why would I join the Guild? What kind of conversations would I have? And I thought you might find this interesting to see what you get a taste of what is behind the wall, so to speak. But also, I just think you're going to enjoy this conversation. I think you might pick up a thing or two. If you've been struggling with adopting exercise into your life, the plan that we ended up with for Misty here is actually something that's applicable to many people. It's something I've dealt with myself. And I would love to give you the opportunity to learn from this conversation as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just begin wrapping this up here. And anyway, so by the way, if you've been wanting to take my free weight loss course, before I forget about that, you can head on over to becomingthin.com. It is a new course. It's only been out a couple of weeks. It's something I've been working on for a long time, but it is my free weight loss coaching course. And it's 3 weeks long. 3 weeks of daily coaching for you. And you can go to becomingthin.com to sign up for that and register. And I'll talk everything through to you. And if you enjoy the podcast, I promise you're going to enjoy this program. You're going to enjoy this program. It is an audio format program designed for you to listen as you're going throughout your day. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you a coaching call between me and Misty. What's getting you with fitness? Why does it keep stunting for you?
Because I have a standard of what I think it has to be, and I'm not flexible on it. So, like, I don't enjoy the gym. I can list off all the things I don't like about it. So it's easy for me to say I don't want to do it.
Okay. So I don't want to do it. All right. Well, I'm jotting that down. I don't want to do it because...
Is it like ellipses, like you want me to tell you?
Yeah. Go deeper.
It takes too long.
Takes too long?
The time of day that I would do it isn't consistent enough to like have it scheduled as a time frame. My life is pretty wild.
Okay. So crazy life schedule. What else?
Those are probably it.
What about enjoyment factor?
Like, I love
Like,
some.
do
I
you
like
enjoy
some
the
fitness
act of
things.
doing it?
What was the question?
Do you enjoy the act of exercise, of exercising?
Some of them.
Okay.
I like the type
Okay,
of
let's
exercise that
enjoy.
looks like normal life, like hiking or adventuring or paddleboarding, swimming at
Okay.
the lake, not at the pool. Like we're having a fun
Okay.
time swimming.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right. So when we're looking at this, so here's a fun one. So when we talk about taking too long, I'm just thinking this through when we're doing the all right. So if you are, what is the goal?
I don't think I
What is your
have one.
fitness goal?
My fitness goal is to be able to do the push-up like you see military guys do, and to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do a pull-up, just be hanging and do a pull-up. That's
Okay.
it. I'm not training for anything.
Do those get you excited?
I don't know if excited is the right word, but I keep trying it more consistently than anything else.
So it sounds like you need a bigger goal.
Maybe.
Because if you had a bigger goal, because those goals, the way you describe them, just knowing what I know about fitness, those don't really give you a clear. I mean, unless you were like really excited about the idea of doing a pull up,
Well,
which like
mostly I
some
used
people
to know
get
how many
there.
days I haven't. I was like 1,412 days I haven't been able to do it.
Okay. I think it's probably safe to say this isn't a very enticing goal if it's been that long.
Fair enough.
Okay. So in your case, then the root cause sounds like a lack of a goal. All right. So we have that. So part of it is you need a fitness goal. Um, the other part is you mentioned crazy life schedule. Is that something you can or want to change?
Um, I think at this particular juncture, it's difficult to change it.
Well, do you even want to?
I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean, it's
I
okay
think
if you
ideally
don't, because
having a
if you don't, we
planned
just leave
pattern.
it.
For now, I think it needs to be this way just for functionality. But
Okay.
like long term, it
So,
doesn't plan to staying like this, but maybe 6 months or so.
okay. So when we're getting to the root cause, what do you think is the thing stopping you from exercise? Like, really? Just across the board.
Well, it would be the like I think it has to be exercise needs to be going to the gym and it needs to be an hour, even though I know that it isn't. I'm like, I gotta get ready, I gotta drive, gotta go, and I have very few hours. That's one. And the second one would be that any kind of goal that there's a lot of goals I'm afraid of, like just kind of hitting a wall of not being capable of doing it. So like,
Okay.
and then having to accept that something that I will never be capable of doing it because of my body conditions. So there's kind of these two. So like I could have a bigger race or something. Like I'm going to train for a race, but I don't know that my pulmonary functioning can do that, period. And I really avoid
Mm-hmm.
even having to face any kind of reality check that it couldn't because I hate like feeling like I'm just can't ever, if that tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like there's a pretty rigid definition of what you and your brain will count as I'm exercising.
Yes.
So if you have in your mind, like, I'm only going to exercise if I can exercise for an hour at a gym, but you have a chaotic life that puts you all over the place, and working out at a gym doesn't particularly get you excited, and you don't have a particularly compelling goal, why would you go?
Right. It's really easy not to. Anything can win.
Super easy not to.
Yeah.
So you right here, we're looking at the root cause. So some of this looks like philosophy, which is how you define exercise and what is acceptable
Hmm.
to count it as exercise. And then the other part is your standards. Sounds like your standards are, or your expectations actually, we're talking about proper expectations. It sounds like your expectations are improper for what you're trying to do. Because if you're setting this high expectation, it's hard to meet that. And so you don't ever feel like you're progressing. And
Right.
I imagine you don't like to do things if you don't ever feel like you're progressing.
I do like to make sure I'm winning.
Right. So you never get that feeling. You never get that feeling of winning. So, okay. And so if we're thinking tools, training, expectations. Sounds like you're missing. I know you have the proper tools at home. And I know that when you travel, you're typically at hotels that have a gym. So you have access to the tools. You also have the right clothes. So I don't think you're failing to get exercise in your life as it comes down to tools. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Okay. So if we look at proper training, I know that you know the concept of exercise, but like, and I know you know like how it works.
Yeah, I have my.
Do you feel that you're properly trained on how to exercise?
Yeah, I have my CPT, but that's like the
Okay.
most hypocritical thing ever. I'm telling people how to work
So you
out.
got that. So it sounds like it really comes down to expectations. You're setting the improper expectations around many aspects of exercise.
Mhm.
And the challenge with expectations is if we set unattainable expectations, people get demoralized. Like, think of your job. Don't you hate working at a job where a boss gives you expectations that are almost impossible to get all the time? They're too high. But also, if they're too easy, isn't that also weirdly demoralizing?
Yeah, probably.
Like if they're too easy,
Yes.
right? Like you
Yeah.
want to, like if you want to have that feeling of like, no, I feel like I'm getting something done. I feel like I'm valuable. I feel like I'm learning. I
Right.
feel like I'm growing. I feel like I'm contributing. I'm feeling something, right? It can be low. And again, and that doesn't always translate with everybody, but certainly with exercise, that would be the case. So in
Yeah,
your
that's fair.
case, this sounds like root causes centered around your philosophies and principles around exercise. What is your minimum effort required for you to count it as exercise?
I think it needs to be like 45-ish minutes. Usually I'll set up an hour workout and I'll be done in 35 or 40 minutes because I'll do it as a circuit.
What's wrong with 5?
I do 5. Like I'll do 5 minutes of some sort of like push-up, trying to get these push-ups in, or
Mm-hmm. Well, that
I
sounds
don't
like
know, do
exercise.
squats or something, but it's not this. What's not the same? It's I don't know. It's like not do. It feels like I feel like I'm strong enough. Like I'm capable of doing my job, my life, and I lift heavy things all the time at work. But it is like not structured, not endurance kind of anything. Does it have to be?
No.
Mm.
I mean, unless you have a goal to have high endurance, then yes. Yeah, the other part we get back to is your goal. Like it doesn't sound like you have a fitness goal.
The only fitness goal I've ever had is like someday I'm going to get to the gym 3 days a week.
Hey, Alex, can you talk where you're at?
Oh no.
Yep, I'm here.
Do you by chance remember what your first fitness goal was that you and I set years ago?
Oh, I don't know. It was probably like a VR workout and swing a kettlebell.
Yeah, I believe it was a VR workout once or twice a week, and you were going to do like 150 kettlebell swings or something. You could slice and dice it however you want. I could go check the notes, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, just however you wanted to slice it and dice it. What's your exercise routine like now in a week?
I mean, last week I did 5 days of strength, 2 days of running, 2 days of cycling. So every day.
Okay, so
I was like,
very
that's more
intense. And
than
I
7
do
days.
remember you talked about how you didn't have time And you also very clearly were like, I just don't want to do it. You just didn't want to. You wanted to want to. Like, I remember those conversations. So, but Alex, could you draw a straight line and connect the dots between how you are now all the way back to that moment and you've just been building from there?
Yeah. And I still don't want to do it most days. It's just habitual now.
There it is. It's habitual. So Misty, I think the other part of this is you're trying to exercise. You're not trying to create an exercise habit.
How do you get from this, I don't want to do it, to doing it? So like I would be motivated through a small win or a success, seeing the success of some kind of measurable amount. But it's not like brain flipping where it's like, oh, I'm lifting a heavier weight. I've made progress. That's not like the switch that needs to, that flips.
Well,
that's like,
so
that's it. How do you get
when
there?
Alex and I were meeting back then about this, it was not about improvement. It was so you got to think with fitness, it's your scaffolding. You're building your way up, layer by layer by layer. The very first skill of fitness to get good at is showing up. That's the first skill, to show up reliably. And you just keep lowering the bar until it's a bar you're like, well, shit, I can do that. And then you do it, and then you level up. Now, the other thing Alex was doing was Alex checked in with me once a week. So there was an accountability aspect, right? Had to come back and talk about it, and I was going to ask, did you do it? Right? And if he didn't, we were going to lower the bar more until we found something that was doable. And then, but once you do it, it's like, okay, now we raise the bar, but just a smidge. And we raise it a little bit more. And then you raise it a little bit more. And then you raise it a little bit more. And so a lot of times people that want to set a fitness goal, they're setting like, oh, I want to be good at a thing. Now, if you have something that speaks to you and calls you, well, sure, set that goal. All right. If you're like, no, I've decided I wanted to run a marathon. Like I deeply want it. Okay, well, we can work with that. But unless you have something that you deeply want, we just keep lowering the bar until you'd almost be offended that you couldn't do it. Like if I said, Missy, I want you to exercise 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week. I mean, could you do that?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So what if we did that and said, excellent, now take one of those days a week and turn it into 10 minutes? Just one. The rest of them keeping it at 5. Could you do that? Well, yeah, I could probably do that. But what happens is you start getting the reps in. And you just start showing up more and more and more. And you just start doing it. So I think for you, Misty, the way you're approaching fitness, I think the root cause gets in is you're trying to be better than you are. Instead of just being
consistent than I am. Like
well, but that's what's getting in the way of the consistency.
None. I think so. I think it's like if I can't do 3 days, then I'm just going to keep on. I mean, I'll go the long way and I'll carry suitcases a bit farther away from my body, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Because it's like if I can't do 3, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. And again, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but you've been saying in your mind, like, I want to exercise more. I want to make exercise a part of my life. Like, that's the goal. My understanding is your goal is you want to make exercise a prominent part of your life in some way.
I would really love it not to be this like thing I'm stuck at all the time.
Right. So we want to set goals that are setting you up for success where you get to feel like you got to win. So this gets where the standards part, and this is where it can get, when we talked a bit about elevating your standards, sometimes you have to lower your standards, which is humbling, to go, all right, well, my standard is I'm just going to show up and do this. But the other part is fitness is accountability. People aren't always great. Sometimes it's great in life. I think the wisdom is knowing when does it make sense to have an accountability person. Fitness is one of those areas where it can be helpful to have someone to hold you accountable. Even if it's nothing more than they're just going to ask, right? Okay. And you're going to show up and say yes, or you're going to show up and say no. And then they're going to help you calibrate your standards. So I guess looking at fitness, do you have an accountability person?
I could.
Outside of you?
I know? Could I? Yes.
So there's one.
Okay.
Do you think you would respond well if you had an accountability person?
Maybe.
Oh, so an unknown.
I mean, not no. I think it's gonna have to, it'll be a little tricky to find somebody who won't just yes me. So you know what I mean? Like, But I'm sure I could do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, because I think part of it is it's learning. You've got to build the habit of showing up first.
Mm-hmm.
I think is going to be the critical success factor. I build the habit of showing up and don't get all caught up in what you do. For me, and I know you've heard me talk about it, I just took the 50% of something's better than 100% of nothing. And the best form of exercise is the one I'll actually do,
Right.
And I
Okay.
think like by updating your philosophy, is what will help. We're not going to set all that now, but you see now it's like, okay, I'm trying to exercise, but what have you been focusing on up until recently to get yourself to exercise?
Just to go, really, because it's so easy for me to justify why I won't. Honest.
But
Like
it's not just to go, is it? It's been to go 45 minutes in a
correct.
proper gym.
Yeah, I need to go to the actual gym and spend at least 45 minutes.
Right. And that's where I think you're trying to jump. That's where when you say like you have to, it's important to get real specific. It's like, I'm not just trying to go. Because if that were the case, you'd
Right.
probably be able to crush that of
Right.
just
Right.
going. So like when I got back into running for this block that I'm on, I had not run in a while. And I was just trying to get good at showing up at the park with my running shoes on and getting out and running any distance. It didn't matter. Just get out of the vehicle and start running. I might run a mile and walk half of it. And now I'm running plenty. I want to get out there, but I had to build my way back up, 3 miles a week, 4 miles a week, 6 miles a week, which for me was humbling because I used to run way more than that, as I'm building back up my base, And so I think for you, Misty, it's like looking at fitness. It's like, what's my just showing up, my minimum credit where I get to tick the box? And I think you got to lower it to the point that it would be insulting to you if you didn't at least try.
Okay.
Insulting to yourself. So, I mean, even taking into account your travel schedule, even taking into account, that you're all over the place and you have chaos. What would be a minimum number of times you could exercise where there's heavy things involved per week?
The minimum that's more than I would
Yeah.
already do? 3.
No, just whatever. We need to set your minimum expectations. What's your bare minimum? The bare minimum for you to be like, all right, I do not want to do less than this, period. Even if, like, think of your bad week, like a bad week. What would be the minimum you should want to do?
2. I
2?
do 1. I do Sunday Pilates with a coworker.
Why not 3? Out of curiosity.
Well, I already think I have to do 3.
Okay.
So I should stick to 3?
I don't know. If you just said 4, I'd have said, why not 5?
Okay.
If you just said 3, I'd have said, why not 4?
I was
asking.
like 1.
If you just said 1, I'd have said, why not 2? Yeah.
I think it depends on the thing. If I am 2, I can do for sure because I have 2 days that I'm alive and on a normal schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a reason I couldn't do 2. 2's an easier one to be like, there's no excuse not to. 3 could get kind of caught up, but I could still try 3. Maybe do 3 days at 30 minutes instead of 3 days at 45 minutes.
Okay. Why not 3 days, 10 minutes?
Well, I could do 4 days at 10 minutes.
Well, why don't you prove it by doing 3 days at 10 minutes consistently for 3 weeks? Have you done that yet?
No. Okay.
Then I don't believe you.
Okay. 3 days at 10 minutes.
That's the thing. Your minimum standard has to be something where you're like,
okay,
I can do that. Like, even on a shitty week, I can do that. Because then when you don't do it, you need to be like, well, why?
Okay.
Lower the standard.
Okay.
And again, we're talking minimum credit. That we're not saying that's what you're going to do. You could do more. Like, you could say, I'm going to go 3 times a week for 10 minutes, but I'm going to try to get 4 times a week for 30 minutes. That's full credit.
Okay. Or staying longer or no.
Yeah, because you can always over-deliver for yourself. Over-delivering is always okay. But over-delivering doesn't mean you change the standard until you've met the standard for a little bit. And for fitness, I'd usually say at least 4 weeks. 4 or 5 weeks, somewhere in there. if you can do something for 4 or 5 weeks, you're kind of getting it baked into your life. Definitely 6 weeks. If you can do it for 6 weeks easily, like I can work out 4 days a week, for 30 minutes, 6 days a week, or for 6 weeks. That's easy now, but at once upon a time, that was not easy.
Okay.
The other part is what do you need to do to be able to count it as exercise? So I'll tell you my standard just to give you, because I have one that's super simple. I think I've shared it with you. I just need a muscle to be sore.
Okay. Okay.
That's it. I need something to be tired.
I can do that.
Do you see how this is now like insultingly easy?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll trust the process here. Because I want to be
because the part of it is you
heart wants to be
get
like,
the
no way.
win of I did it, and then you raise the bar.
Okay.
Then it didn't, I raise the bar. Now, another way to look at exercise, and it's sort of like we were talking about with Alex, is sometimes you can pick a lift or a rep or something, and you don't do it by times, like I'm going to work out for 3 times a week for 20 minutes. You can be like, I'm going to do 300 push-ups in a week, and I can divide them up however I want. But at the end of the week, I'm going to get 300 in. Or okay. I'm making it up. It could be whatever you decide, right? So sometimes you could exercise like that. So what I would encourage you to sit with is like, what is the lowest standard you would be willing to do to count? And since you're beginning fitness, you just like something where I can reliably show up.
Yeah, I think because I can go on the treadmill, and if I run, I was trying to do distance, but it was counterproductive on like how I felt about it, made it worse. And so then I was like, well, that was only 25 minutes of this walk/run. So, or if I'll quit the program early, it's like, well, that wasn't it. Then I go back and I redo it and keep redoing it over and over and over again until I end up getting it. But it's like almost, I don't even count even any of those because I didn't finish them. They're like this half undone thing on my Peloton. So I do have some things about it, this completion kind of attitude, I think. So this may be very helpful.
Yeah, and it's not that you're not going to get to that place that you're doing it. It's just meeting yourself where you're at in your skill set.
Right.
And I look at exercising as just a skill set. It's like, have I adopted the skill of exercising? Have I learned how to get myself to exercise? Have I learned how to build up a base, and get myself into the habit of showing up? Can I do that? And the nice thing about exercise is it's very practical. Like you can quantify it very, very easily. Some things are hard to quantify. And this is where you start looking in your own philosophy. It's like, well, what do I count as exercise? Do I count yoga? Do I count walking on the treadmill? Well, if I'm going to do it on a treadmill, how do I count that as exercise? Like you get to pick. But the point is you keep raising the bar.
Okay.
For a while. And eventually the bar gets hard to raise, right? You're working hard to get just little incremental changes. Yeah, so I would say, it sounds like if you were to set a goal of like, I just want to exercise 3 times a week for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, something that you think is like, I definitely could do that even if I was traveling in a hotel. And I'm going to do that for 4 weeks straight. And then I'll raise the bar. Or I'll evaluate raising the bar.
Right. Do you think that that's true of, because I like looking at who's in here right now is people that I think that are all like, they all do fitness pretty actively. I think Kristen may have came into hers later also, but like when Alex was talking earlier, like sometimes he doesn't like working out. Is it something that is the habit that you have of working out where you just go do it and there's no conversation about it ahead of time? Like you have to talk yourself into going to the gym? Does like having the successful pattern or habit look like that's not happening? Or is it like,
I can't speak for Alex on it, but for me, I usually have to do a couple things. Part of it is I've worked out enough that I know I have never regretted doing it after I did it. I've never walked away from next and like, wish I hadn't done that. I've walked away from something like, wow, that sucked. That was hard. I've definitely done that. But I've never been like, this was stupid. I wish I had not have done that. I've definitely walked away and thought, I'm sure glad that's over. I'm sure glad I'm done. I do that all the time. But I've never been like, this was a big mistake. I never should have come out here. Now, what about you, Alex? Do you ever walk away being like, I wish I hadn't have done it?
Only if I'm sick and I'm pushing myself. But like, I think
okay.
So the difference, and I think you're absolutely right. Like, make it stupid easy, make it incremental. Was I used to sit on the couch in my workout clothes, in my shoes, just being like, oh shit, I don't want to go. those like thoughts still go through my head, but I'm actually actively moving, right? I'm actively moving out the door and I'm actually going on my run or going to the gym. Like those intrusive thoughts can exist there, but it just doesn't stop the inertia that I'm building.
I think it's like going to work.
Yeah, and I'll lower, like what Alex is talking about. Sometimes I don't want to go, and so I'm like, I don't want to go exercise. I don't want to go run. So I'm like, well, why don't you just go put on your exercise shorts? Kind of like what he was saying. Like, just go put on your running shorts. Just go put them on, and then you can sit down. And then I'll put them on. I'm like, just go get your socks and hold them. Just hold your socks. So the other part with exercising, Misty, is removing friction too. That way you can kind of just talk yourself through the next step. It's like, all right, well, now that I've got my shoes on, let me just go sit in the vehicle and scroll. You know,
Okay.
all right, you know what? I want an energy drink. I'm going to go to the store and get an energy drink. And if I want to come home, I'll come home. And then I get the energy drink. I'm like, well, you know what? Just drive to the park and drink the energy drink while you drive around. Okay, well, now you can sit and scroll on your phone while you drink the energy drink. Okay, well, now it's done. It's like, well, just get out of the car and just start walking, right? Just start walking. If you don't want to run, turn around and walk back to the vehicle and get away. And of course, 5-10 minutes into it, I'm like, well, I'm here. I'll just do a half-ass run. And then I just start jogging. Next thing you know, I run 5 miles.
Okay.
I mean, it happens like that all the time.
Okay.
Just literally kind of like what Alex was saying, but part of it is just getting the muscle memory of just like, I'm good at showing up. I'm good at talking myself out the door. And I also can just rely on, I know when and actually I'm curious for you, do you ever remind yourself like, I'm going to feel better when I'm done? Do you ever tell yourself that? I'm just curious if that
Me
motivates you
or
at all.
Alex?
Alex.
Oh, I mean, I always feel better, right? So I think I mean, running is purely mental health. So I think like that's just like my therapy is I go run. And strength, yeah, it makes me feel more capable.
Yeah. So some of it is I'm kind of what Alex said. Like I remind myself that feeling is waiting for me. That is not enough on its own a lot of times to get me out the door. But it that plus everything else, it kind of stacks and adds up. And then I also make it fun. I mean, I'll have audiobooks I like listening to. I'll have with running, I can make phone calls. So I'll have people I'll call. I love to sit in my car and scroll. Like if I'm going to scroll, I'm usually scrolling in my vehicle at the place of fitness for 20 minutes. Like that's where a lot of my scrolling happens. Cause it's like, I'm giving myself a little candy, right? And then I'm going to go do my thing. Sometimes I'll bring a book with me. Sometimes if it's lifting, I'll do my scrolling while I'm lifting. Right? Because I can do a set, then I can go scroll, then I can lift, then I can scroll a little bit, then lift, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. Or maybe I have some great music I want to listen to. So sometimes you got to find a way to pair fun with the task.
I could see that. Okay. I'll do it.
Yeah. But you see how what we're not doing, Misty, we're not talking about what you're going to do for exercise.
Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, because quite honestly, you're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason you would be is if you had a goal that really spoke to you, and the
Right.
goal would tell you what to do.
Right.
But you don't. Your goal is just general. I want to add exercise in my life. Well, if that's the case, we don't need to be picky because the beauty is you'll probably change it up a bunch, and now you're free to do whatever exercise speaks to you in the day.
Right. Right. I like it. I think I can. It's a good start point because it almost does feel a little bit like I know how to do that. Like I know
And
how.
this is where like the NASM and the ACE programs and the OPT model, this is where I don't think they do a good job teaching of helping a person truly ramp up to beginners because it's basically jumping people into structure. But
Mhm.
that's level 2 structure. We have to get level 1 structure, which is just mastering showing up.
Right.
And enjoying being there and doing any form of fitness because any fitness is better than no fitness.
Well, I think my fitness
ultimately
relationship is always about losing weight. It's always been about losing weight. I don't need to do that. So it's like when I lost the weight this way, that's always been the driver for it. I wasn't good at sports when I was younger. I was a big kid. So there's not like this team sports are fun. I'm always like, this sucks. So then when I was able to lose weight without having that, I was like, well, that is something I'll never have to do. So it's really been relational to weight loss. And now that that's out of the equation, it's been very difficult to find footing that motivates other than like, I should do it. It's like the thing that people should be doing. I mean, I do know that I should be doing it. I need bone density and I would like to be able to take care of myself in a healthier body, moving it about. But It's been
Yeah, you're
challenging.
in the momentum building phase. Like you just got to build up the momentum of showing up. And then you can start setting more, it's like, all right, well, let me set a goal that takes 6 weeks to accomplish. Okay, well, now let me set a goal that takes 3 months to accomplish. Now I'm going to set a 6-month goal. Now I'm going to set a 1-year goal. And that's, here on the maintenance side, we haven't really talked about it, everybody, but like, I do think it's important for everybody to at least once in your life set a fitness goal that's going to take you a year of training to achieve. Like there's something about it. There's just something about chasing a fitness goal for a year. It changes you. And it changes your relationship with fitness in a real meaningful way. And I don't know that you got to do that all the time. I don't, that's between you and yourself. But I think at least once you should taste it and see what that feels like. But you progressively work your way up to it.
Yeah.
But you see how, Misty, the other thing we're doing is we're just lowering the standard. We're just lowering it until finally you're like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like this is too easy and my inclination is, okay, I'll be able to do this week. I mean, I'm going to work out again today. I worked out yesterday for 45 minutes. I'll work out today and tomorrow, done. And then I'm going to want to be like, nope, next week I'll go to whatever this week has been. So I'm going to try to like I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this and then build off of it. Because my instant reaction, which is probably the one that I shouldn't do, to do the same thing I always do, is to like up the ante every single time. Like,
yeah, and you should up the ante, but this is where it's also kind of, where it sounds like, especially for you using exercise like for weight loss, is start thinking as like your minimum unit of time is weeks.
Yeah.
Not days. So it's like, okay, let me do this for 4 weeks. Okay, now I've done it for 4 weeks. Now let me look at raising the standard. Because you'll notice some weeks you're going to like crush it. It's just going to be easy. You're going to have high motivation. But the important part with fitness is learning that motivation ebbs and flows. And so when motivation is high, oh my gosh, I'm going to crush it and take advantage of it. Some weeks your body just feels in God mode. And it's just like, wow, I am like, I feel so strong. But then 2 weeks later, your body's like, F you. And then you're like, okay, I got to figure out how to work out while my body feels weak and tired. How do I do that? And then that's where I was like, okay, I'm looking for a standard I can just kind of hold through all these. And on the good weeks, I just push.
And I do have those for other things, just not this. Like I have a steps minimum. I have water minimums. I have these, just not here.
Yeah. And I think part of it is just because also we're looking at like, yeah, you were trying to do specific exercises, not just exercise.
Right.
And just
that's true too.
not get picky about it. Because you're not chasing, because the truth is, Misty, you're not chasing a performance goal. And so if you're not chasing a performance goal, it really doesn't matter what you do. You could do a different exercise every time you show up. You could literally just go, okay, I'm going to exercise. What sounds like something I want to do today? Do that.
Okay.
Just do that. You want to lift? Lift. You want to get on the elliptical? Get on the elliptical. You want to do yoga? Do yoga. You want to do some stretching? Do some stretching. You want to get on a Peloton, do a bike ride for 10 minutes? Do that, right? You just do whatever sounds good to you in the moment. And you really think of it, you're in your sampling phase. You're just trying different stuff and just begin to notice, what do you tend to just naturally gravitate to frequently?
Okay.
Yeah. And then what'll happen is one day a goal will speak to you. Like you'll just be like, I want to do that. I didn't know I wanted to do it, but I think I want to do that. And when you find a goal that speaks to you, it gives you the structure. Now that will give you the structure of what it is you want to do. So if you're like one day you're like, I think I want to run a 10K. I want to run a 10K. I think I want to do that. Okay, perfect. Now we know you're going to pivot and shift to running, and we're going to build your program around running. But now you're building that goal on top of your foundation of I'm good at showing up.
Yeah, that tracks. It does. Okay.
Yeah. So everybody, you see like how we're doing root cause analysis, digging in. So what we started with was like, I'm wanting to exercise. We took it to tools, training, expectations, but we just kept kind of getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, one of the things that's important when you're doing root cause analysis, obviously it's good to do it with yourself, but sometimes it is helpful to have another person that's knowledgeable in whatever area it is you're trying to improve, because they can help you with the root cause analysis, because they've seen a lot of different problems. Like everything Misty was just describing here, I've seen these problems lots and lots of times. So this is an implementation plan I've done before many times. And that's where it can be helpful. If you're doing it by yourself, Misty, you probably could have figured all this out on your own. it would have just taken you longer.
Probably wouldn't have.
Right. Right. And
Wouldn't
so
have.
the wisdom, well, I mean, I got faith in you. I think you'd have figured it out eventually. And so it's just a question is how long would you have beat your head against the wall before you did, right? That would have been up to you. But so that's the other part of the wisdom, everybody, when you're working through a problem in your life is when is it time to bring in a trained professional to help me in this specific area of life? You know, who's going to be my coach or my mentor or my guide or my advisor to help you with whatever the thing is that you're trying to do. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. We'll go and wrap up here. Give you back 4 minutes and see you all next week. Talk soon.